You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You'll succeed at last.
Hello Abuja, and welcome to yet another moment on Will and Zeal. This is one program that is meant to bring to the public view persons with disabilities that are up and doing in their various careers, trade, or any field of profession that they find themselves, with the sole aim of showing how much one can get along in spite of difficult situations that disability may bring to one's life. I am Liman Usman. As always, there is a very wonderful guest I have on the program today, but I will want to take a break, as I have always done on the program. At the other side of it, you will get to know who is this guest on the program today. All right, feels so good to welcome my guest on the program today. Her name is Patience Dixon. She is the CEO of Advocacy for Women with Disabilities Initiative. Patience Dixon, it's nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And as always, I will want to start by knowing the history of your disability.
My disability, wow. It's such a great story. I always look at it as a great story because behind every disappointment, there is always something that God wants to do. I think it started a very long time ago when I was about 2 years old. So I was told anyway. I had whooping cough, and so I was taken to the hospital, and I was injected. And that was the end of the story. And so when I came back home, my legs just refused to function, and that is where we are today.
When you say you were injected, and from there your legs stopped working, was that supposed to be a mistake by the medical authorities, or what happened actually?
For us, our family, we just said, we just look at it as a mistake, because it's not something that we expected. It's one of those things that happen to children, and they take them to the hospital. And as expected, it's either you administer drugs or you give them injection. But in my own case, it was different. So we really don't know what happened, but that was what happened.
Okay, so from there, what has been the next steps that you took? Did you stop the very moment you found out that you could not work, or you tried to get remedy from other sources?
Yeah, again, like I was told, I was very young at that time. My parents took me to so many places, like UCH Ibadan. Those are the ones that I know of, and some other hospitals in Benin, where I was born at that time. And well, they took me so many places, and they administered so many treatments, but to no avail, and so no one could work.
And finally, you just have to face life with you being on the wheelchair.
Definitely, yes. Wheelchair, and at first crutches, and then later on a wheelchair.
All right. We will get to know how life continued with you, how you got your training, and the challenges of life, how you've been facing them. But let's just take another short break, and we'll be back to that.
Whooping cough is a bacteria which you can pick up, which causes this ongoing cough. It can get really bad, you cough for ages, and characteristically, after you've had a coughing fit, you have this big whoop afterwards. Now, in some people, it doesn't cause a huge problem. You may not even know that you've had whooping cough. But in other people, it can get really bad. And if it's bad, sometimes that means you have to go to hospital. And it's particularly bad in young children. And this year, there's been loads of kids out there who've been picking up whooping cough, and unfortunately ended up in hospital and needed to have inpatient treatment. After someone's been infected, after about 1 or 2 weeks, you start developing cold-like symptoms. So sore throat, runny nose, watery eyes, bit of cough, very, very similar to a cough or cold. With that cough, you can get vomiting, temperature, runny nose, all the kind of stuff you would get with a normal infection, but it tends to be worse when you've got whooping cough.
You're highly welcome, viewer. As you can remember, together with Madam Patience Dixon today on the program, Will and Zeal. We started by knowing how she became disabled, and now we want to know, how did you go on to school, and what happened during schooling?
I was very lucky, I should say, because my days, there was no school, except special schools for people with disability. I think that was when special school was just coming up. And then I was so lucky to have met a social worker who took me to school, even though it was very difficult for my parents to accept that someone like me could go to school. I was so happy. It was one of the best days in my life, because that really transformed my life to what I am today. I went to the special school, like I said, for persons with disability, for my primary school.
Okay.
And then I went to a secondary school for girls called St. Maria Goretti Girls Secondary School in Benin City. From there, I went to Ambrose Ali State University, where I graduated in the Department of Accounting.
Okay, primary school, I want to believe you may not have so many problems getting along. But secondary school, you were in the mainstream school with other people that were not in your kind of condition. So how did you fare?
For me, it was very, very difficult at that point, because like you rightly said, the special school was, we are all people with disability, so it was easy for us to get along. But it was also a blessing for me, because it was a way of me integrating and also being able to now conform to so many people, so many students who had no disability and all that. But even from my family, they didn't want me to go to a regular school because of discrimination, because of stigmatization, and of course because of the way they thought that other children will definitely bully me. But unfortunately, I passed through. I could remember this story, I don't always forget it, that my school used to be a long-story building school. And so my class, because I have a disability, I was forced to stay in the girls' class downstairs, even though that was not where I was supposed to stay, because we used to do exam, which puts you in different classes. But in my own case, I was now made to stay in that class because I was not able to climb upstairs. He also followed me to my university as well, because that was why I chose Ambrose Ali State University at that time, because they all had ground floors at that time when it started. I wanted to actually go to University of Benin, but because University of Benin had a lot of high risings, so I was also forced to go to where the stairs are low. I think those are some of the things that we are advocating for as at now, to say that yes, I would like to do things on my own, and I would like to also do it according to my choice. But at that point, I had a choice, but my choice was not good enough, let me put it that way. I was forced to go to another line. Well, that is, we are hoping that things will change for the better.
Okay, well, the case was sort of unfortunate. When you said unfortunately, I thought you were going to tell me something else. But you have just told me a fortunate story now. You were highly favored during your secondary school and university. Okay, in all of these patients, the schooling of a disabled child is mostly money intensive. It's mostly expensive as expected. So was it purely handled by your parents, or did you have support from the government and other agencies to be able to go through schools?
Very interesting question. Yeah, I think for me, I keep saying that my case is different, and I'm always so so blessed and
favored
favored.
child.
Yes, yes. I had lots of support in my school days because, like I said, the special schools, they were just coming up at that time, and so children were being sought out for all over for them to come to the special school, and so the government supported us. In fact, my education, the government supported my education till I went to the university. It was in the 200 levels in my university that my parents took over. And that is something I really want to talk about. It's something that will really help parents, especially poor parents. My parents were not rich, and they had so many children. We are about nine of us, and I am one of the last ones. If not because of the support that I had from the government, I don't think I would be educated, because that's really helped my parents. Because, you know, like you said, educating children with disability is a lot more expensive than educating the children without disability. And so, because my parents had to hire a car to take me to school because of my state of health and things like that. So it really helped my family, and it helped me as well for me to be educated.
Okay, you finished schooling, and I'm sure you had something in mind that you wanted to do with your life. And after school, you discovered that side of you that you want to carry on with. We will get to know what exactly you've been doing with your life after school. Let's take this break. All right. After school, what did you find yourself doing? Is it something that you initially planned doing, or you just have to start doing it because there was no means of doing what you really wanted to do?
Like I said, I studied accounting, but accounting went another way now because I'm no longer using it. I looked for a job for a long time after I graduated, and I was not able to get the job I wanted to continue my field of training. But I still continued because at the end I was able to get a job with an organization that was working for people with disabilities, not as an accountant, but as a social worker now. And that is one thing that I've always wanted to do, because it gave me passion to work with people like myself. And so it was a very good platform for me to build up of the kind of passion that I wanted to do in life. Yes, I got that job, and it opened up the way, a good and positive way into my future.
Okay, you're not being able to get a job initially. Was it as a result of your disability, or it was due to the general employment situation?
Partly due to the general employment situation, but majorly due to my disability, so to speak, because I could tell from some interviews that I attended, and the first question they always ask is, or after the whole question, they will not say, "Are you sure you can cope with that kind of job?" And I will be asking them, "What kind of job are you doing? Are you working from the sky?" Because if you are working from here on earth, there's absolutely nothing that is there that I cannot do. So I sensed it that my disability came to play. Even though you tell me or not, I could sense it from the way you talk.
Okay, finally you got a job with an NGO, you said. What's the NGO? What's the name of the NGO, and what are they into?
Yeah, I got the job with Christopher Blind Mission. I worked with them for about 6-7 years before I left. I left in 2015. I'm no longer there now, so now I'm originally on my own with the Women with Disability group. Then I was first operations officer, then a program officer, senior program officer before I left the organization.
What is Christopher Blind Mission into?
It's into work. It's a donor agency for people with disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now you are on your own with the NGO, Audi, right?
Yes, yes.
So what do you do with the Audi?
Audi is an organization that work with women and girls with disability, that make them understand their rights, and make them also to know that they are people to be reckoned with in the society. And so the organization is just to open up space and create a voice, a better voice, a louder voice for women and girls with disabilities in Nigeria. And it's a national program. At the moment, we have, we work in the form of self-help group, a group of like 2 to 20 or 30 women in the community. So now we have about 61 groups across 19 states.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say? You train them on louder voice. Is it voice training you give them? Don't mind me, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Specifically, what do you do with the women?
Yes, with the women, we train them, we build their capacity, because like you know, because of my experience as a girl child with disability, and then now as a woman with disability, I begin to understand that women with disability are really nowhere in Nigeria, and they are really at the bottom of the ladder in everything. And so even in the agenda, people hardly talk about them. Yes, they talk about persons with disability, but women with disability is nowhere to be found. Well, that might be at the time when we started anyway, but thank God now things are a bit increasing. So what we do with these women is to capture them from the community where they are, especially the educated ones, and then we build their capacity by training them so that they will be bold, they know their rights, and then they will begin to have high self-confidence about themselves. And just recently, in about 4 years now, we started thinking of how to give them, for them to build their income by engaging them in skill acquisition programs in various states.
Do you train them on self-esteem, cleanliness, and confidence in the way they go about life and so on? Do you do that with them?
Yes, we do training on personal hygiene. We do training on self-esteem, how to build your self-esteem. I remember one training when the very first training that we had in 2009, yes, and then we took a woman out. I took her to our training ground, and I always remember this story because I remember I asked her, come, let's take you for this training, and because she is without limbs and hands, and she said, no, I can't go. And it took us a long time for us to persuade the mother. And then the question was, oh, what is my daughter going to do there? She doesn't have both limbs, and so what is she going to learn this training for? What does she need training for? She doesn't need anything. As far as we were concerned at that time, we're looking at those women as she has given up hope about her daughter. But we wanted to revive it, to make her know that, yes, having no limbs does not mean that it's the end of life. In fact, it could even be the beginning of life. And so we took her there, and then the first thing this lady said when she came back was that she's used to always people telling her, people telling her bye-bye in the morning, and she's always telling them welcome in the evening. Yeah. Nobody has ever told her that. So for the first time, she has gone out, so she's going back home, and definitely we will tell her welcome. For us, that was a very good thing, and then it really touched me as a person.
Okay, but what did you finally find out that you could train her on?
Yeah, I think now, in fact, I even did a short story on her recently because I'm still working on her. She's an artist, and then
artist?
Yes.
Painting?
Painting, yes.
Okay. Oh.
And then pencil drawing as well. Okay. And then she's now trying to write playlets on her own. And so also trying to put together her book, because I visited her last week. Okay. She's in Abuja, yes, she's in Kuje here. Okay. And then she's doing a lot of work. And,
she went through school?
She went through school, but she stopped at secondary school.
All right.
So she's hoping to further, but she doesn't have the money yet.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay, we will be drawing it closer home when we come back from this break. All right, Patience Dixon, it's been a very wonderful time we've been having together. Now let's bring it closer home. Yeah. Home front, how has it been like? May I ask you if you're married yet?
Yeah, I'm married. I'm married to a wonderful man.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Is he having any form of physical disability?
He doesn't have any disability at all.
Did you find him or he found you?
He found me. I wouldn't have found him. He found me.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Any child or children yet?
No, we are still expecting.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. So how is it like there at home? Does he allow you to cook?
Oh, he allows me to do everything. Definitely. Yeah, I do most of the work in the house. He helps me a lot.
Okay.
He helps me. Yes, I do most of the work.
You know, someone will be like, "Oh no, don't let me take her through the stress of cooking or washing." That's the kind of pity you will get from some people.
No.
But he believes in you that you are capable of doing it.
Definitely, definitely. He even scold me if I don't want to do it.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Okay. Right now, let's get to know your ambitions. What are your ambitions?
Women with disability. Women with disability and girls with disability. I want a situation, it has always been my dream, whereby girls with disability will not be girls with disability in my days. There will be girls with disability with a difference, whereby in the home you have a girl child with disability. I'm not saying boy's child with disability is not important. I'm just saying girl child because this is my mandate. This is where I work on. So girl's child with disability should be to have the same rights like every other children. That is my target. That is my belief. That is my dream, and that is my mandate. That is just the future I want for the disability world, and of course my own as well. I want to blossom. I want my future to be good, and I want my family to be better. Yeah.
Oh, I say amen to that.
Yes, amen.
Okay, finally, how do you relax?
How do I relax? Most of the time, I relax at home with my family. And sometimes we go out as well, especially during the weekend where you have more time to yourself in the evening. You just take a stroll, and then sometimes we walk along, myself and my husband, and then we just take a walk, go to a nearby garden and just relax for some time. And then, yeah, I think that's all.
Okay. You listen to music?
I do. My husband is a very good music person.
Okay. If I want to choose a song to play for you on this program, which one would you want me to choose?
Which one would I choose now? Okay. I like songs by Lara George.
Which of her songs?
Dasaki, right?
Okay.
Dasaki.
Okay, I thought you were going to choose Ijaba.
I like Dasaki.
Okay,
Yeah,
Dasaki. Okay,
so,
you get it. You get it.
Thank you.
I'm acknowledging you for who you are, for what you've done in my life. Oh, I'm acknowledging you for who you are. Papa. I'm acknowledging you for who you are, for what you've done in my life. Oh, I'm acknowledging you for who you are. Papa. In my life, you are the miracle worker. You are King of Kings. You are the Waymaker. Oh yeah. In my life, you are the Prince of Peace. Papa. I'm acknowledging you for who you are, for what you've done in my life. I'm acknowledging you for who you are.
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful having you on the
Thank you,
program.
Mr. Liman. Thanks for inviting
And keep
me.
the good work going on.
I will,
Thank
and I
you
wish
very
you well
much.
in everything.
Oh, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that is how it has been on Will and Zeal. Once again, I want to thank you very much for the time taken to be part of it. It will come your way again another time. That will be next week. Before then, on behalf of the entire crew that I work with, I want to believe that you will have such a great weekend. If you want to contact us on the program, just to let us know what we need to know on the program, particularly if you know of any disabled person that needs to be on the program, please do not hesitate to let me know by calling the number 0809 685 9565. And you can also like our Facebook page, that's Will and Zeal, and then our Twitter handle is at Will and Zeal. Thank you once again, and enjoy every moment of the day.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try. Try and try. Try and try. You'll succeed at last.